last year. I guess, how do you balance what you did last year and at the same time know it's a new season?
Well, I think the big thing is to realize that no individual player or no team is ever going to duplicate something just because it happened before. And it's been a great time period for our program over the past 5 or 6 months. But it's also been a very challenging one as well because, we have to continue to build. We have to continue to control, so to speak, the different phases of the year. And right now we're in a very important one, which is building towards this season, which is the only thing that really matters.
Well, has it helped, though, as you look through this off season compared to your others, that kind of success? Presumably that would make things better for this university.
Well, I think on the big stage in the looking at it big picture, clearly there's a lot of great things that came out of our season, our run, our march, and from the administration to the university to our fan base to our alums, a lot of great things came of it. And the quest is to try to continue to keep that going, and in any way which way we can is to use our program, our players, and our responsibility here to continue to try to elevate it.
Well, let's go right with that then. As you head in, give us an overview of this year's team heading into a camp.
Well, it's very new. We lost a lot of experience. A lot of people don't probably realize that, but with a couple transfers and a couple graduations, we're 5 guys off of last year's team, and all 5 were everyday guys. You had 2 fifth-year seniors, and in so many ways, some of our most experienced everyday workers are no longer here. You add in new faces and new roles with our younger guys moving as they get a little bit older, it just becomes the normal progression of trying to build a brand new team. And, we need our oldest guys to be our most consistent. We need our oldest players to sort of drive the ship, so to speak. And I think as they get accustomed to new roles, new opportunities to lead, new windows that they've never had before, it's going to be challenging. Each individual's got to focus on the team at hand and what we're trying to do, and sort of put those self-expectations to the side.
With that said, with the new faces on this team, can we expect the same type of Flyer basketball, or will you have to change things up a hair this year?
No, we won't change much. I mean, I think every team's personnel dictates what you try to do on both ends of the floor. We definitely won't be as deep as we were last year. I do think we have a chance to play fast like we always want to do. And it's going to be some guys featured more than others, maybe more so in the past, scoring the basketball. Some of our older guys, that are proven have got to be able to deliver with production. And but for the most part, we are who we are. We've developed our system over the course of years. Some of our veteran guys are very, well indoctrinated in practice every day right now. But the quest will be to add a Ryan Bass, a Darrell Davis, those guys to the mix that aren't as comfortable, that aren't as familiar. And I think that's going to be our challenge, is to bring those new faces along and sort of having, the Kyle Davises of the world, the Scooch Smiths of the world, the Pollards of the world, with very new roles, and the expectations will change. So we're going to be a work in progress here early.
How was Ryan Bass fitting in, since he was the last one kind of to join this group?
Yeah, he's done a good job, to the best of his ability on the run. He was not only a late addition, but he wasn't even here for one day in the summer. So his first real day was our first real team meeting. But he's a smart guy. Just as in watching him kind of get through our fall, he's very, very athletic. He's very talented. I think he has a chance to really impact our team, but it's new to him. He's never been here before. He's never played here before. Everything is new, so it's not like he can just hit the ground running as if he was a transfer or whatnot. He hasn't been here, so we got to give him some rope to grow, to learn. He's got to take the stress level off him. He's going to go through some pains here early on, but I do believe he's going to help us immensely.
What do you want your group of guys that were part of that team last year, what do you want them to take from the run last year? Or do you want them to take it and forget it now, or how do you want them to look at it?
You never want to forget. I mean, I think the big thing is that there's got to be motivating factors for you to get back to, the great run of March, but it can't happen right now. I mean, right now our older players are guys that are veteran guys, whether they've been here for 1 year, 2, or even some cases 3. The thing that I don't want those guys to forget is how hard it really was to do what we did a year ago, and how many ups and downs that we had to go through to get to where we got. And we couldn't do it if we didn't have great character, great leadership, and some guys really that were focused on it every day. So our veteran guys, the thing I hope that they'll bring to the table that they haven't forgotten is, the everyday process of honoring it every day, of coming to practice, of building relationships with one another when it's not that convenient, and, at some point in time having those guys sort of row the boat.
Given that, what big picture-wise, what kind of goals do you set at this point in the season?
It's hard. I mean, our program is based on one thing we talk about it a lot, which is conference championships and opportunities to compete deep in March and have special moments. That's what we talk about. That's the expectation. But at the same time, right now, we're not even close to being where we have to be or where we can be, and we're going to need a lot of things to go right here early in the season as we deal with some injuries and some depth problems. But I think, coming together as a group, practicing every day, learning how to practice with one another, the expectation is to continue to build and feed into our culture and do what we do.
Seems like a common name that's been coming up through the offseason is Scoochie's name.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that, and where do you think his...
Well, I think that, the big thing is in our system and the way we play, there's very few positions that are as important as the point guard position. When you play at a tempo that we play at and you try to do some of the things that we try to do, he's a big straw in the drink. But he's got the keys. There's no one that right now has been able to take him away from him. And I think coming into the season with the added role that he's going to get, with the added minutes that he's going to get, with how he's worked in the off season, he has sort of that one he's that one guy that is set up to really be just a pivotal piece to us. And he's earned it. He's a terrific player. The way he finished last year to the way that's led into his offseason, I think he has a chance to be one of the better point guards in our conference.
Do you have any updates on the guys who were battling injuries, Dechuan and
Yeah, right now Dechuan is going to be out a significant period of time, probably looking at maybe even a January return for him. He had knee procedures done most of the time through the summer, with one procedure that was done here in early September, which is almost an automatic 4-month recovery. So Dechuan's going to be slowly back to it. Kyle, who's recovered fully from his wrist surgery this summer, is full go. Deshaun, who has battled a surgery in the offseason, was full go, but then was really set back by a very luckily, best case scenario foot sprain that we actually thought was going to be a little bit worse. But he has not participated in our fall to date, and we're looking at more of a mid-October return for him. Jalen's been out with severely sprained ankle from the first week of school, and he's probably a little bit ahead of schedule, where we're looking at he and Deshaun probably hopefully to regain practice middle of October, but both guys got their work cut out for them in terms of missing the fall camp and the preseason. So we've battled it. It's been very, very difficult. We're not as far along as we've been in previous years, just in terms of the team, the chemistry, just because some of our most important guys, our oldest guys, haven't been there. So we'll battle through it, and my hope is as we get in the middle of October, early November, we start to get a little more consistency.
How do you adjust with a short bench? I mean, last year you like using 12 guys.
Well, we were fortunate last year that we had a lot of different guys, and at times we were able to use the depth every day in practice to get that chemistry going. In some cases, that's a lot harder to do than when you have limited bodies, because obviously the less you have, the more chemistry, the more rotation, the rhythm that you're going to have. So you can look at it either way. I do think that we'll play every guy that we have. I think how much they play is always up to them, but we're a team that has to play some people because of the style that we play, and I don't think we're gonna change anything in that mode. And
not having Steve when Jalen does come back and Devin, how much pressure is on those two big guys to really up their game?
Well, yeah, I mean they're juniors now, and you would hope the fact that going into your junior year, you pretty much understand the way it is and how to do it. Both guys worked hard this off season when they could, and I think that they're going to anchor probably our back line the best they can, whether they're together on the floor or they're not together on the floor. But they're older guys, and they know what to do. I think now, as a junior, you have responsibility to produce as an upperclassman, and they'll have to do it. But we're going to have unique lineups this season. We're going to play people that positions that they haven't played before in their career. So that's going to be an added tweak as well, where where we don't have some pieces, maybe we can change the game a little bit with other people on the floor at other positions.
Coach, can you talk about the schedule, the non-conference schedule, where you saw it?
Yeah.
Where it could have been better, could have been worse, or are you happy?
I just, this will be our fourth season here, going into year 4. To me, with what we have in our stable going against it, it'll be the most challenging non-conference slate that we've had. with true road games at Miami, which is obviously an in-state rival, at Arkansas, going to be very difficult. Second game of the year starting with, Texas A&M and then figuring it out from there in Puerto Rico. And we also have Georgia Tech and Ole Miss still coming. But the most challenging games on our schedule also, we have some unbelievably good MAC teams, where it's Eastern Michigan and also Bowling Green, that are going to be much different teams than they were a year ago. So without naming them all, our non-conference is difficult. And I think everybody kind of understands adding 2 more league games. That's 2 more opportunities, at least one on the road, where you're going to play in our conference right now, which isn't very easy. So hopefully our non-conference will prepare us, and I think our conference race will be very similar, as it always is, very tough.
You were talking about guys playing different positions, specifically.
Well, I think a couple ways. Deshaun being as versatile as he is, and also coming into a year where he's got to produce more, we're going to have to move him around a little bit. I could see him being the 4th guard on the floor, which he's never been. I could also see him being his natural position at the small forward. But, for us to be at our best at times, we're going to have to maybe put our best players on the floor, which would put him and Seibert and a combination of maybe 2 other guards at times on the floor together. Deshaun's never been that 4th option, or shouldn't say option, but that 4th perimeter player, a lot like Oliver was for us a year ago. I also think a guy like Kendall and some things that we're going to have to do, we may put 5 guards on the floor at different times. And whether that's playing 2 small guards with a very small lineup, but being able to spread you out, being different on defense, or being able to play big, which we normally have. So we're going to have to, because of the numbers and everyone's responsibility that's going to have to be ready on game day, I think they have to be able to learn some multiple positions for some different guys, which will be a change.
I know he's not